Good evening, all of you. So, in day one, we are going to discuss about why Python and what are the characteristics of Python. What is the difference between open source software and proprietary softwares, and what are the areas you can use a Python programming language, or what are the advantages of using a Python programming language. We are going to discuss in the day one. So, in day one, I covered why you are using a Python programming language and what is the difference between scripting languages and programming languages, where the Python is used and what are the trust areas of using a Python, and what is the difference between open source software and proprietary softwares, and Python characteristics, and Python in real world, and advantage of you learning a Python you are going to see in the previous class. So I will repeat some few points about the Python. So Python is a interpreted programming language. Python is a interactive programming language. So Python is a object oriented programming language, and Python is a dynamic and strongly typed programming language. And one more, Python is a free and open source software. So you can download the software from the particular website. And the Python was created by Guido van Rossum in 1991. So that is about Python. So what is a scripting programming language? So the scripting programming language, uh, it cannot be depending on the compiler. So that is the language can be interpreted based interpreter based languages. So the interpreted based languages is called as a scripting languages, like JavaScript, and programming languages. So the programming languages will be compiler based languages like C, C++, and Java. So what is the difference between open source software and proprietary softwares? So the open source software purchased with its source code, and a user can get open software for free and free of charge. The user can modify the software. The user can install software freely into any number of computers, and no one is responsible to the softwares. So whereas in a proprietary softwares purchased without its source code, user must pay to get the proprietary softwares. User cannot modify the software, so user must have a license from the vendor or owner before install into the computer, and full support from vendor if anything happened to the software. So that is about the difference between open source software and proprietary softwares. And also seen in the previous class about Python characteristics, and Python real world, and advantage of Python. And now in day 2, I will discuss about how to install the Python. So if you have any queries, so please post your query in the chat box. If you have any query, please post your query in the chat box. I will try to answer your queries in the in this session. So let us start with how to install the Python. So if you want to install a Python on you can install the Python in a Windows machine as well as a Linux, Ubuntu, or a Mac OS also. So if you want to download the Python software. So first you can go to the www.python.org. So on that official website, you can download the latest version. So as I downloaded the latest version at the time, the latest version is 3.8.6. So now, what is the latest version? So the latest version in Python is 3.11.3. So this is the latest version. You can go to the official website python.org/downloads and you can download the latest version. And if you are using a Windows machine, you can choose a Windows machine, or you can if you are using a Linux or Unix or Mac OS, you can choose this option. So according to your requirements, you can download the latest Python. So if you want to download a latest Python, you can go to python.org/ and followed by downloads. So after downloading Python, so now choose the Python version you want to download. So after choosing a Python version you want to download from the official website, then your this is a official website. I will be choose the latest version. So after that I will be download the Python software. So now the file will be downloaded in your computer. Then you have to click on installation. You can click on that icon, then it will go start installation of your Python. So here it will go showing install now. So install now option. So just you can click on that option. Then after that you can choose add Python also. You can add the Python path also. You can click on add Python latest version path. So while installation of Python, you need to click on add Python path. After that, it will go start installation. It will showing a progress of the installation. So after installation of the Python, so now you can go to the your search bar. You can go to search and you can type Python. So what is the version you are going to download from the computers? Then it will showing Python 3.11. So it is a terminal. So it is a Python terminal. So in this Python terminal, we will going to execute the programs. Like for example, if I want print hello, simple I want print hello message, then I will write print followed by hello. Then I got the output of the that command. So that is a one procedure, and one more is called, and one more you can open the command prompt. You can open the command prompt, and here you have to type Python. Here you have to type the command Python. Then it will showing a terminal, Python terminal. So from this command prompt also you can execute the Python code. So for example, I will write a simple message hello, print followed by hello. So then I got the output of the following statement. So whether you can use a command prompt or you can use a Python terminal, will go and execute some small statements. So for example, if you want to write the Python code in a notepad, for example, if I want to write a Python code in a notepad, for example, if I want to write a Python code, then you have to open the notepad, or you have to open the notepad plus. So I already saved the one simple statements. So this is statements I saved into the notepad. So print, this is Python script, and print welcome to Python tutorial. So now how we'll go to execute these lines. So this is scripting language. So I'm writing this scripting programming in a notepad. Now you want to execute these lines, then what you have to do, you can go to the command prompt. So I will close and I will open once again. So you can go to the command prompt. So in this command prompt, I will save my file as a f1.py. I will save the file as a f1.py. So why? Because it is a Python program. That's why you can give a file extension, file name followed by .py. So py stands for Python. And similarly, if it is a C program, you have to save the file as a file name .c. So that's why here I mentioned the file name. So here I take a file name is f1 followed by .py. So after saving the file in our local drive or C drive or D drive, some other locations, then you can go to that location. For example, I'm save the Python file in local drive and users and followed by admin. So now I will go to the that path. So C drive, users and followed by admin. So after go to that path, now you can type the command Python and followed by file name and followed by extension .py. Now if you press enter, then it will go on showing the output of the on that scripting file. So what are the statements? I'm going to write into the notepad. So that lines is going to execute it in a command prompt. So that is called scripting, Python script. If you want to execute a Python script, you can write in notepad, and you can execute that script in a command prompt. So you can save this script, a Python script with extension .py. So you can save into the C drive or D drive or some other drives, and you can go to that path location and you can type Python and followed by file name .py. Then you will get the output of the corresponding program. So in this example, I'm printing a print followed by this is Python script and a print followed by welcome to Python. Then I got the output after execution of this code, scripting code. I got the output. This is Python script and welcome to Python tutorial. So this is one way for execution of the Python script. So this is one of the way for execution of the Python script. And other way is called you have to download Anaconda Navigator. You have to download the Anaconda Navigator. So it is an Anaconda Navigator. You have to download. It is also a free and open source software. You can download in our computers. So I already download the Anaconda Navigator. So that Anaconda Navigator. So this is Anaconda Navigator. I already downloaded in my computer. So now on that Anaconda Navigator, it contains number of applications. So I will open the Anaconda Navigator. It contains number of applications, and it contains Jupyter Notebook. So it contains Jupyter Notebook, or it contains a PyCharm. So whatever you are familiar with applications or app which are available in the Anaconda Navigator, you can download that application in our computers. So after that you can open the Jupyter Notebook. So after that you can open the Jupyter Notebook, then you can execute the Python programming also. So it will take a time. So just I will be open Jupyter Notebook. So it will be already installed in my computer. So this is one of the way. This is also you can execute the Python code. So either you can write the Python code in a notepad, and by using a command prompt you will going to execute the Python script, or you can use a Jupyter notebook, or you can use a PyCharm application in Anaconda Navigator. You can execute the Python script also. So let us say it will going to take a time. So now it is opening the Python Jupyter notebook. So now after opening of Jupyter notebook, now you can go for new. So you can go to the new option and select Python 3 IPY. So that is the interactive Python kernel. So IPY stands for interactive Python kernel. You have to open the it is a interactive terminal. So Jupyter and PyCharm are a interactive terminals, and whereas Python terminal like a command prompt is a command based terminals. So you can open the Jupyter notebook. You can click on a new, and you can click on Python 3. So now it will be opening the Python 3. So this is a notebook. So now in this we will going to execute statements. So print hello. So after writing of your code, just you can click on run. So print followed by hello. After that you can click on hello. So it will take a time. So okay, so this is output. So then it will go and print the what is the statement I am passed into the print function. Then it will go and get the output of the that program. So it is a Jupyter notebook. So by using a Jupyter notebook also we will go and execute the Python. So these Jupyter notebooks or PyCharm can be used for writing of a large applications like project. If you want run your project work, so that all will be can done in a Jupyter notebook or PyCharm notebooks. So what is the advantage of using a Jupyter notebook in Python? So the advantage is that, for example, I will write a one condition if 5 greater than 2 colon. Now see here. So automatically it will take the indentations. So the Python should write the indentations. Indentations you should maintain in a Python programming language. So the Jupyter notebook will be automatically take the indentations. After that it will be waiting for the statements. I will write 5 is greater. 5 is greater. So then I will run the program. So now I got the output is 5 is greater. So with help of this Jupyter notebook, you are not going to bother about indentations in Python. So that is one of the advantages of using a Jupyter notebooks. So for example, whereas in Notepad, if you want to write it in a Notepad, you should maintain the indentations also. You should maintain the indentations in a notebook also, in a notepad also. For example, if you don't maintain any indentations, then what happen? It will go on showing error. So for example, in this example, I am not going to maintain any indentations. Just you can save the file, and you can go to the command prompt. So I will close this Jupyter notebook. So I will close the Jupyter notebook. Then you can go to the command prompt. For example, if you are not maintaining a indentations in your Python script, then what happened? So you can type the command Python and followed by f1.py. Now see here, it will showing error. So what is error here? Indentations error. So why? Because I'm not going to maintain a indentations in the notepad. Clear what I am saying? So whereas in Jupyter notebook, which will going to take the indentations automatically. So whereas in a notepad, you should maintain indentations. You should maintain indentations. Then only your code is going to execute it. So for example, I maintain indentations. Then I will go and save the file, and I will come back to the command prompt. Then I will go to execute my file. Now see here, I got the output. So whereas in previously, I'm not going to maintain indentations in the notepad or notepad. So that's why I got the error, indentations errors. So for avoiding these type of indentations errors, better to use a Jupyter notebooks, or you can use a PyCharm also. So whichever you are comfortable, you can choose that Jupyter, or you can choose a PyCharm. So I'm comfortable in Jupyter notebook. That's why I open the Jupyter notebooks. So for execution of the Python programs. So this is a terminal. You can use a terminal for execution of the Python, or you can use a interactive apps like Jupyter, PyCharm will also execute the Python code. So that is about how we'll go and run the Python after installation of the Python in our computers. So that is about how we are going to install the Python in our computers. Now let us see the next one. So we'll go and see how we'll go and write the Python program. We already discussed how to write the Python code. So the Python code can be written by using a terminal. That is, you can write the Python code in a notepad, and with help of a terminal command prompt, we will go and execute the Python code, or by using an interactive interpreter. So that is a Jupyter notebook or PyCharm. By using that interactive interpreter applications, we will also execute the Python code. So they are the anyway you can use two ways for execution of the Python programming. So this will be comes under command prompt. It is a Python terminal, and whereas that Jupyter and PyCharm will be comes under interactive interpreted applications. So this I said that I'm going to save the file in notepad as a .py. Then I will go to that particular location where my file will be saved into my computer. Then I will go to on that particular path. Then I will use a command python and followed by filename.py. So after pressing enter, then I got the output of the following example. So this is for scripting mode, for execution of the Python script, which will be saved into the notepad as a .py, and by using a command prompt we will go and execute the code. So next one is indentations. So in Python, indentations is a very important. You should maintain a indentations in Python. So if you are not going to maintain any indentations in your Python code, then it will go into showing an error. So what is the indentations? So indentations refers to the space at the beginning of a code. You have to maintain a space at the beginning of the code. So in this example, I am maintaining a space for writing of a print function. So the indentations refers to the space at the beginning of a line. At the beginning of a line, that is called as a indentations. So indentations are used for readability, more readability in the programming language. Like by seeing that statement, will be know very easily. I mean readability. So more readability in programming languages. So that's why you need to maintain indentations in the Python programming language. And also in Python, indentations is used to indicate a code block. Like in C programming, you are using a open and closing curly brackets. So instead of writing these open and closing curly brackets, you are using indentations. So that's why in Python, indentations is used to indicate a code block. It is a block of code in Python. I hope you'll be understanding what I am saying. So for example, in the following example, I maintain a condition, that is if 5 greater than 2 colon. So you should use a whenever you have to use a condition, you should use colons. So like the colon can be indicated as a block of code in C programming. Like instead of using a open and closing curly brackets, you have to use a colons for writing of a conditions in the Python. And after that, you need to maintain a one single line space at beginning of the code, or you need to maintain a one tab space for writing of the statements. For example, if you are not maintaining any space for writing of the print function, then it will go and produce the error. I hope you will be understanding what I am saying. So next one, now I'm going to write the syntax error, like I'm not going to maintain a indentations. So I will write the uh, print function corresponding to the if statement. If whenever I'm going to write a if statement corresponding to the print function, then I got the syntax error. So that is I got the indentation errors. So next one, as a programmer, you choose amount of space, but there must be at least one. So as a writing of the programmer, you should maintain a single space, or you should maintain a one tab space. Okay, so here I'm using a only one space for writing of a print function, whereas in the second condition I'm using a one tab space. So I'm using a one tab space, and after that I'm writing the print function. So as a programmer, you have to choose amount of spaces. So whether you can choose only one space, or whether you can choose a four spaces or two spaces, that is decided by the programmer. So for example, in the second example, if 5 greater than 2 colon, and here I am maintaining a only one single space for writing of a print function. So I am writing a print function. For that I am using only single space. So whereas in second print function, I maintain a one tab space. I maintain a one tab space. So for the first one, I maintain only single space, but for writing up a second print function, I'm maintaining a one tab space. So if you are write like that, so for first to print, you are using only single space. For the printing of a second print function, you are maintaining a four spaces. So that means you are maintaining a single space and four spaces for writing of a print function. If you are maintaining like that, it will going to get the error. So why? Because for writing of a first print function, you are using only single space, whereas in for writing of a second print function, you are using a tab space. So that means you are not maintaining a number of spaces in this example. If you are not maintaining a number of spaces in the example, then you will get the error. So how many spaces you are using for writing of a first print function? So same number of spaces will be also used for the second print function also. If you are not maintaining, then you will get the error. So that is a indentations error we will going to get. So for example, I will write this code in a Jupyter notebook, and I will show the syntax errors. So I will open the Jupyter notebook. and go to new and select Python, or otherwise you can also use notepad also for running of the Python script code. So it will take a time. Okay, now it is opening. So now let us see here. For example, if 5 greater than 2, 5 greater than 2 followed by colon. So in this example, the Jupyter notebook does not going to give any spaces. Just let us take spaces here, or otherwise I will take a single space. I will write one single space. Okay, or I will use one single space. Now I am writing print and followed by let us write 5 5 is greater, 5 is greater, and whereas in second print statement I will be use one tab space, whereas in the second print statement I will use a one tab space. Then I will write 5 is less than, 5 is less than 2. So I'm writing for first print statement with a single space, whereas in for second print I'm using a one tab space. Then what happened? So it will be showing a indentation errors. So why? Because for writing of a first line I'm using only one single space, and for writing of a second line I'm using a one tab space. So that means you should maintain a same number of spaces for avoiding a indentation error. For example, I will correct this code. Now see here, I will use only one tab space. Then I want to run the code. Now I got the output of the following example. I hope you will be understanding what I am saying. So how many spaces you want to maintain for the first print? So same number of spaces will be also used for the second print function also. Otherwise it will go and produce the error. So for example, I will produce one tab space, then I want run, then I got the indentation error. For example, I will correct the print function. Now you can execute, then you will get the output of the following example. So that is a statement here I am writing here. So how many spaces you want maintain for writing of a first print function? So same number of spaces will be also used in the second print function also. Otherwise it will go and produce the indentation error. Now coming to comments. So how will go and write the comments in Python? So the comments are frequent way of describing a code. So by using a comments, we'll going to describe the code, Python code, not only Python code. So it may be a C program or C++, Java, Python, PHP or HTML. So whatever programming language you have tried the comments. So the comments will be uh, uh, describing the code. The comments will be used for describing the code, and also the comment line can be used for understanding. So readily understand it. By seeing that comments, we'll go and understand that where you can stop the program in last week, where you can stop the program for implementation of a new module in last week. So after come back to the vacation, now by seeing that comments, then you will be understand that where you are going to stop the implementation of the code. So that means the comments can be explained your readability. The comments can be used for readability purpose, and also the comments can be used for remembering where you are stopping in the program. So the comments line will be used for code readability, and where you can stop the program. For a remembering purpose, we'll going to use a comments in the any programming language. So in C language or C++, you have to use different types of comments. So in a C language, you have to use a comments slash forward slash followed by star, and ended with the star and followed by forward slash. Whereas in C++, you can use a double slash, or in Java will be also use a double backslash, and whereas in Python you have to use a hash. So in Python you have to use a hash for writing of a comments in a programming language. So for example, I will be open the notebook, then I will write here comments uh, by using a hash. Check check, 5 is greater or not. So I will write the comment line, check 5 is greater or not. So by using a hash. In Python you have to use a hash symbol for writing of a comments in the program. So what is the use of comments in the program? For readability of the program. So for more readability of the program, and second one is for remembering. So for remembering of the code where you are stopping in the previously. So for easy remembering, I would use a hash, or for describing a code of Python or other programming language, you have to use a comment lines. So if you write a comment lines in your program, that comment line cannot be going to executed. So what are the lines you are placing in the comment line? So that comment line cannot go into executed while execution of the program. So next one, creating a comments in Python. I will go and create a comments in Python. So I said that just now, in Python you can use a hash symbol for writing of a comments. So if you are writing a hash symbol, then what happen? So the Python will ignore the comments. So what are the lines we are going to write as a hash symbol? So that lines is going to ignore. For example, I am writing a statement hash. This is a comment. Then this line is going to ignore at the time of execution of the program. So next one, if a comment is added at the end of a line, then Python will ignore the rest of the lines. So for example, if you write a comment at end of the line at end of the line. So in this example, I am writing a print followed by hello comma world. Then I will write a hash. This is a comment. I am writing a comment at end of the line. So if I am going to write the comments at end of the statements, then the Python is going to ignore the rest of the lines. So that means it will ignore the rest of the lines in the code. It will ignore the rest of the lines in the program. So that is the meaning for if you are going to write the comments at end of a line. So next one, it is not necessary for a remark to have text that explain the code. It can also be used to stop Python from running the program, running code. For example, um, the comments can be not only used for explanation of the programming code, but the comment can also used for stopping execution of the statements also. In this example, I write the two statements, print hello comma world, and print cheese mate. I will write two statements. Among these two statements, I will apply the comment for first line. So that means this line is going to not this line is not going to execute it at the time of execution of the code. So it will go and execute only second line only. So that means that not only you can use the comments for describing of the program or for remembering of the program. So the comment lines will be also used for stopping execution of the code also. For stopping Python execution of the code, you can use the comments also. And this is comments with several lines. I will go and write the comments with several lines like multi-line comments. So the multi-line comments are not supported in Python. So you might use a hash for each line to add a multi-line comments. So for example, I want to write a multi-line of comments, then I will use for every line I will use a hash symbol. So next one, for example, if you want to write a multi-lines of the comments in our code, then you have to use triple quotes. So by using a triple quotes, we'll go and write the comments in Python programming language. So the comment lines. So if you use a hash symbol, if you use a hash symbol, that will be only for on that particular line only. It is not meant for commenting multi lines. So if you commenting a multi line in Python, then you have to use a triple quotes. So in this example, I'm using a triple quotes and followed by this is a comment written in more than just one line. So then after that I'm going to print the hello world. So just I will write the comments in Jupyter notebook. So I will write the comments in triple quotes. So this is multi multi-line comments in Python, and after that I will write the one statement. So print hello. Then I will go and run the code. Then I got the output here. So if you want write the multi-line of codes, for example, I will write a multi-line of code. This is a multi-line. Next line comments in Python. Okay, clear? I hope you are understanding what I am saying. If you write the multi-lines of comments in Python, then you have to use the triple quotes. So instead of using a hash symbol in each and every line, you have to use a triple quotes for writing of a multi-line comments in Python programming. I hope you will be understanding what I am saying. In the next class, we'll go and discuss about Python identifiers and variables in Python. So in the next class, I will discuss about identifiers and variables in Python. So up to now, if you have any doubts, you can post your query in the chat box. So today we are discussing how to install the Python. After that, about indentations and about Python comments. And if you have any doubts, these topics, you can post your query in the chat box. So I will try to answer your queries in the next class. We will go and discuss about identifiers in the Python. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. So that's all about today class. So if you have any doubts, if you have any doubts, please post the query in the chat box. And if you don't have any doubts, I will post the attendance link in comment section as well as in WhatsApp group. So thank you. Thank you for attending. Have a nice day. We will go and meet in the next class.